Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, it's so good to have you here. Welcome back once again. My usual disclaimer, please, this video is strictly for educational purposes. Do not go searching out for anybody that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comment, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. So this video is something that I came across over a week ago. I saw a video of a palm color woman carrying her palm color baby walking away in what seemed like a park, and she was being confronted by a man. You know what, let me just go right ahead and play the video.
Did you call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again? Okay. Alright, that's what you say. Nobody digging to your
A little kid just did, you
That little kid, you call him a The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be the that.
I don't give a
Huh. Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
So yes, she had used the N-word on an autistic black child. From the reports, I think that child is about 5 years old, and a black man who had witnessed the whole situation started filming and confronting her, asking her why she did that. And you guys heard what she said, and she kept repeating the word to show that she's unapologetic about it and all of that. And I believe the story has really gone viral. It has sparked a whole lot of debate about racism, and I think it must have made national news at this point. And the most shocking part for me is the fact that this woman went ahead to open a GoFundMe, and people have been donating to her. And what is the reason? Because she wants to protect her family, apparently insinuating that her life and maybe the safety of her family and herself is under threat.
Everyone say hello to Shiloh Hendricks, who has raised over $500,000. Help me protect my family. Wow, people are very nice. Let's find out what she's raising money for. My name is Shiloh. I've been put into a very dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was. That sounds problematic. Another man who we recently found out has a history with law enforcement proceeded to record and follow me to my car. He posted these videos, which has caused me and my family great turmoil. This woman called a child who stole from her child. I don't think if a child takes a toy from another child on the playground, that's like theft, but regardless, called him a racial term. Then the person that was recording called him one, and then doubled down on it and said, yeah, you're both that thing I called you. And through this website, Give, Send, Go, she has raised almost $500,000. And if you go through the donation list, majority of them are anonymous. Shocker. And they are contributing to this woman who is a racist by every definition of the term, $500,000. Now, this website is apparently a Christian website. It also gave money to Kyle Rittenhouse, so that is what it is. A lot of people reached out to this website, and they're pretty much getting nothing. What a world we live in right now, where you can just be a racist online and almost become a millionaire in one day.
I am beyond disturbed. I am beyond, I can't even fathom. Did you see the comments? White people should not be forced to live among monkeys. Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy. I want to say that I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked. I'm angry. I'm angry because are you kidding me? Disregard everything that little black boy and the people around him had to deal with. But let's protect this white woman. Let's protect the race.
Once she started receiving backlash from the now viral video, this lady created a fundraiser in Give, Send, Go, where her goal was originally $250,000. As you can see, she's gotten almost double of what she asked for, and now she's raised her goal to $1 million. And it ain't nothing but a bunch of racist people donating to her. The audacity of that second person quoting Rosa Parks! Do not donate to that bullshit, y'all. Here instead is the GoFundMe for the 5-year-old boy that she harassed, started by the NAACP Rochester branch. If you can't donate, at least share, comment, like, and engage with this video, all of that, because that baby deserves better and she can go kick rocks.
And at this point, I believe she has raised over $700,000 and is headed towards $1 million. And that is a lot of money. And it is shocking to me because last time I checked, using the N word with the hard ER, it falls under hate speech, right? And there are repercussions for these things. And we've seen videos of people using the N word and they end up having to take accountability. Some of them lose their jobs. They basically F around and they end up finding out. But in this case, I have no idea how this got twisted to the point that instead of her actually facing the repercussions of her hate speech, she is being rewarded. So I don't understand. How did we go from punishing bad behavior to actually enriching somebody's pockets as a reward for racism? And the fact that this racism was towards a child and you are a mother is even what is shocking to me. An autistic child, and your reason is because you say the child was searching through your son's bag. As a mother, if anything, you know the behavior of children and you know that these things happen all the time. And it is not necessarily because that child is a thief. It's because the child is a 5-year-old child and has no knowledge of boundaries. And looking at it deeply, it is not just her using the N-word. Someone who is comfortable using that word in modern day America obviously is a reflection of how that person feels. And for you to even be able to use it on a child even shows how much of a terrible person you are. It is not about just the word. It is about the hate behind the word. It is about the intention behind the word. Your intention is to demean and to dehumanize and to hurt and to make that little child feel less than. It just goes to show the kind of person she is. I just cannot believe how this whole thing has turned out. But before I go on and on, let me just play some of the videos of people who have spoken about this, and then I'll come back and give you guys my thoughts.
Some nasty effing mother in Minnesota calls a little African-American boy the N-word repeatedly and then starts a GoFundMe for herself to protect herself and people are donating and it's up to $500,000. This is effing appalling. Who are you that's donating? Like, give me a message. Let me know, because I'd like to have a word with you. I'm trying to raise funds for my friend who has actual stage 4 cancer and without the money will not be here anymore. And this bitch gets using the N-word and then raising, oh my God. Can we just arrest her? I have a place for you. It's called prison.
So a white woman defends her child from being bullied in a park, is recorded by a man who was arrested for what? And y'all are outraged at the mom for using a word? A word. Y'all are doxing and threatening a woman because she used a word to the point where she needs to ask for help to relocate her family? And this is the world we live in? A mom defending a word hurts y'all so much. A word that y'all use every day. A word you use in music every day hurts you so much that you decide, you know, a mom defending herself. And then the person that recorded it, where's the parents at to the child? Have they came out? Have they told us why their child was in the park by himself? No. Y'all won't hold that person accountable. Y'all just want the kids to run around and tear shit up. This is what I'm talking about. And I'm glad that white folks see this bullshit and are helping this lady. Let's get at them.
Shiloh Hendricks is the whole story. Now, to understand what I mean, I want you to think about this one question. Do you remember when Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman? He took the time to interrupt her answer in the middle of a 2016 presidential debate because she committed the unforgivable sin of correctly pointing out that he liked to avoid paying taxes. That's it. That was the heinous offense. Now I have one question. Where is Donald Trump? Because it's now been several days since I saw Shiloh Hendricks call an autistic black preschool child the N-word multiple times in a public playground, in front of other kids and families, in a video that has now been seen tens of millions of times. And I haven't heard a word from President Trump or Republican leaders calling out and condemning her hate speech. Instead, do you know what I've seen? Over 25,000 Republicans donate nearly $700,000 to her to celebrate her way of living that she will pass on to her children and evangelize in her community. And this is the thing. It's not just Shiloh Hendricks. It's not just her hate speech. It's not the fact that her net worth, which could soon exceed $700,000, will be more than triple the average American. It's that she just exposed the absolute most brutal truth about living in America today. And I know you feel this too. The truth that for my entire adult life, for our collective lives as Americans, we were told these people and these beliefs were the fringe minority. That we shouldn't judge Republicans based on the behaviors and the words of a few crazy people. Please ignore them. They don't speak for us. Well, you stand for what you tolerate. And right now, and ever since the deranged demigod dictator launched his birth author movement over a decade ago, all I see is the accelerating wholesale embrace of hate by the right. Hate that now lives in the White House. Hate that is now writing policies that govern this country. Hate that is hurting real people every day. Now we have Shiloh Hendricks, the blindingly bright crystallization of the movement our president so proudly and so unapologetically embraces for its unwavering commitment to him. This vile human could now be paid $1 million or more for no service to society other than screaming the N-word at an autistic child on a playground. This is what we mean when we quiver with rage when we hear the phrase both sides. This is not both sides, this is one side. One side embracing the festering hate that was passed on to them by their parents, their grandparents, and their great-grandparent, all the way back to the first putrid human who looked at a person with darker skin than them and thought, that person is worse than me, and they should suffer for it. Racism is our cancer, a disease older than the United States itself, but a disease that for most of my life I firmly believed we wanted to cure. But now as the disease spreads more aggressively and publicly than I've ever seen, I look at the 75 million voters on the other side, and all I hear is deafening silence.
So a white woman in Minnesota called a 5-year-old black boy who's autistic the N-word, was recorded doing it, admitted to doing it, and was able to raise over $500,000, which is probably going to reach about $1 million soon. Making money off racism is a white American tradition. It's in the cultural heritage of white folks in this country. They don't have to accept it, but she willingly did and is voluntarily agreeing to continue that harmful, egregious legacy. Remember this fact. There is no wealth in America. There is no wealth amongst white folks in this country without racism and slavery preceding it. Even if your ancestors didn't enslave and you came after the fact, you still benefit from it. I need us to remember that folks who think like that, it is not our job to help them, to save them. It is not our job to be surprised. It is not our job to say, where is America going? Because America and that mindset has always been here. I need us to remember and know that there are people in our community, people we see online. There are organizations and initiatives that are committed to proactively addressing issues like that. And we need to commit ourselves to funding them the same way that lady got funded for being racist and hateful. We can do that and more. So let's do it.
I'm going to weigh in on the Shiloh Hendricks issue. A lot of people are going to be pissed off, but I don't care. I'm going to keep it real, okay? People are upset this woman called a child the N-word. She's claiming that the child was taking her kid's belongings. The child wouldn't stop. No one was doing anything about it. So she snatched everything, called the child an N-word, and she basically had a meltdown. And now she's getting a bunch of money donated to her. She's about to raise $1 million, and people can't believe it because she's a racist, right? Okay. Here's the bigger question. Why are so many people donating to this woman? Why are so many people in this country so supercharged about this issue? Okay? We have to be accountable in every aspect of life. Okay? We can't sit down and be a victim and say, oh, racism. I know that's the easiest thing to say, right? You're just racist. I could go out. I don't look white, right? I'm labeled as Caucasian, but I'm Persian. And when I go in to get a passport or a citizenship, or sorry, a driver's license, whatever, I have to label myself as Caucasian. That's what the United States says that I have to do. And that's what I do. But according to everybody else, I'm not what you would consider white. So you would think that I would face racism, right? And I probably have here and there. Some people might not like me. But the bottom line is, my culture as a whole, Persian people, we don't have a reputation of robbing, stealing, being disrespectful, being loud in restaurants, talking over people, being ignorant, right? We don't do that stuff, okay? We behave the way society expects us to behave. And in return, we're treated pretty fairly. Even as people who came here as immigrants and really didn't have shit when we came here, okay? A lot of us had absolutely nothing, lost everything, and couldn't even speak English, and came to this country and made it a home, but we abided by all the laws, all the rules, and we treated people with respect. Therefore, people treat us with respect. Now, let's talk about this certain group of people that, you know, this woman was referring to, okay? Look at the culture as a whole, all right? How much cultural issues is going on with that group of people? Do they rob a lot? Okay, do they commit a lot of crimes? Do they commit a lot of murders? Okay, are they usually the people that you're seeing doing things that make everybody uncomfortable or make them feel unsafe? So where is the hatred coming from is what I'm trying to ask people, okay? Do you think it's possible maybe if this group of people cleaned up their act, started to behave just like everybody else does in society, then people wouldn't generalize, that people wouldn't feel this way? Because I think that's what would happen, okay? I think something magical would happen if that could occur. But until they fix their cultural issue, okay, until they fix the mother and the parent situation in the house and start raising their kids with the same ethics and morals and values as everybody else, this racist thing isn't going to go away. That's all I got to say.
It is, in the end, a net positive that this woman has raised $500,000. I'm glad she has. I hope she raises $1 million. I will not be joining with some of my conservative friends in wagging my finger at her donors, and I'll explain why. First of all, she does have a legitimate need for the money. The mob is truly trying to get her. I don't believe that a woman should have her life threatened for saying a word, even a bad one. And you could say freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences for your speech, all you want. But if losing your livelihood and having your house burned down is a consequence of your speech, then you do not have free speech. Supporting free speech means supporting someone's ability to speak without having their family murdered for it. Okay? I mean, that should be pretty obvious. Second, more importantly, and this is the part that I really need everyone to stop and think about. This is the most devastating attack on cancel culture that we have seen, possibly ever. Shiloh Hendricks has, without really trying, effectively ended cancel culture. As Mark Dice said in his video about the incident, Shiloh is the final boss of cancel culture, or maybe rather the final boss that cancel culture has to fight. And I think that's right. And this is the part that many conservatives seem to be missing. All they see is that this woman said something bad and is now getting rewarded for it. The whole thing is so unsavory that they can't help but recoil. And yeah, it is unsavory. You wish that Shiloh had said or done something that we could affirmatively defend. That would be much easier. Nobody wants to affirmatively defend cussing out a 5-year-old, even though I don't think the kid's actually 5. But none of that is the point. The point is that the only way to put an end to this routine, the routine where the outrage mob mobilizes and assembles to destroy somebody's life, is to disincentivize the routine. And the only way to disincentivize that behavior is to reward the person who's being targeted. Now, we can complain all we want about the mob tactics and how they silence and punish people and exact vengeance in wildly disproportionate ways. We can condemn it. We can write think pieces about it. We can deliver monologues. None of that matters. None of that will stop them. The only thing that can stop them, the only thing that will make them think twice about doing this again, is if they know that instead of getting their target canceled, they might accidentally make them rich.
It is shocking to me how many people I have seen making videos actually defending this woman. I'm like, what is going on? I thought people used to be covert about their racism, at least on the internet. But I'm seeing this one way or the other. This woman and this whole situation has brought out this racism, and people are with their full chest coming out talking about why they support her and why they think she deserves the money. Now, I am not saying that she deserves to, in quote, lose her life or her family need to be unalive because she used the N-word. No, but I think there should be some repercussions. There should be some accountability for her hate speech towards a child. And now they even went to the extent of trying to criminalize and discredit the man who called her out, the man who was filming the video. I think he's Somali. They've tried to make it sound like he has a criminal record. They've tried to make it sound like he was a pedophile just hanging around in the playground. Meanwhile, he was actually there with his kid.
Hi, my name is Shamarki Umar. I'm the guy who recorded that video of that racist woman that was insulting a 5-year-old child at the park here in Rochester, Minnesota. May I remind you guys, I have a clean criminal record. I've never committed a crime in my life. I am being punished for standing up, speaking up for a child. My address got leaked, my phone got leaked. I'm getting death threats by the minute. I have 4 children, the youngest one on the spectrum. He needs to go play outside every day. He can't anymore. So, doing the right thing gets you punished, and doing the wrong thing gets you rewarded. Make that make sense, America.
You know, one of the most amazing things about this incident that nobody is talking about is how this is Shamik Omar, the person that this person claims recorded her at the playground that day, who everybody passed on along his criminal history, saying that he is a pedophile and yada, yada, yada at the playground filming children. Well, according to the Hindus and Times, he caught this charge in 2023. A charge of criminal sexual misconduct. However, that very attorney's office dismissed those charges in the interest of justice. What that means is the case was found not to be true. No evidence. People were calling him a pedo due to an older case. This is according to that courtroom. He was accused of assaulting a 16-year-old girl. However, according to court documents, the accusations were dropped, and he was cleared of all accusations. And he wasn't there filming children like everyone says. He was there with his own children playing at the park. And also, it was the woman who made the claims that he was a pedo. Just FYI.
There are a lot of conversations that has come up. I've seen people try to justify what she did by bringing up the Carmelo Anthony case. I didn't even know about the Carmelo Anthony case until this particular video.
I cannot stop thinking about this Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf murder case. It's really been haunting me. If you haven't heard of this case, I'd be pretty surprised, but I will give you a quick synopsis. This took place at a Texas track meet. There was a rain delay. Carmelo Anthony, the man in the middle, went under a tent to seek shelter from the rain. This tent was allegedly an opposing team's tent. Austin Metcalf, who was on that team, told him to move. A verbal altercation ensued, which then led to Carmelo Anthony saying, "Touch me and see what happens." At that point, allegedly, Austin Metcalf did get physical with Carmelo Anthony, at which point Carmelo stabbed Austin Metcalf one time in the heart with a knife that he was concealing in his bag. After that single blow to the heart, Carmelo Anthony then ran off. Unfortunately, Austin Metcalf would then succumb to that single injury to the heart and pass away, allegedly in the arms of his twin brother. Carmelo Anthony is not claiming that he didn't do it, but he is claiming self-defense. Both parties have started GoFundMes and such and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. Obviously, a lot of people are picking sides. There's race at play. There's a lot of things at play that make this a very emotional case, but it's just an incredibly unfortunate tragedy that is so easily avoided. There's so many questions. Why did he have a weapon? Why was it underneath the tent? Why did Austin approach him? Why did he get physical? Why did Carmelo escalate so quickly and aggressively? Where were the coaches or any adult involved? It's just such a tragic story. Obviously, Austin lost his life at such a young age. Carmelo Anthony is fighting a murder charge. The twin brother who had to watch his brother pass away. I think the majority of people that are siding and donating to the Metcalf camp are pretty much like, why would you bring a weapon to a track meet? Obviously, you were up to no good. Obviously, it was premeditated. You were looking for trouble. And the people backing Carmelo Anthony are like, hey, F around and find out. I told you, touch me and see what happens. And you saw what happened. Me personally, I will not be picking sides. This is just an incredibly tragic story. But let me know what you think in the comments and follow for more.
So one way or the other, they are using that as a justification for them supporting this palm-colored woman who is comfortable bullying a child, because as far as I'm concerned, that's what it was. They've also been conversations about the N-word, people that are not American, people that are not black, coming out to talk about why are you guys even so offended by such a word, and you guys use it in your music and all of that. And this is a conversation we have had on this channel before, and you guys know how I feel about that. I don't think that is even a word we should be using, no matter how much we try to tell ourselves that we have turned it into a term of endearment. And this is one of the reasons, as you guys can see now. People have even gone to the extent of trying to get the GoFundMe deactivated, and it's not working.
Hey, you know that fundraiser for Shiloh Hendricks? You know, the racist asshole who screamed the N-word at a 5-year-old? Yeah, Give, Send, Go, the CEO, is not in fact freezing the funds at all. And it's gone from 600 to 750,000. And now she's asking for $1 million. And he's going to hold on to it if anything should happen to her. He's going to hold on to it for her. Yeah. Went on national news to discuss this in length. Because she needs a safe place to be for her family.
And I'm like, wow. I really wonder what this means, because what message is it sending to the people out there who are ready to desist? What message is it sending to people out there who want to use the N-word but have just not been using that because they know that there's going to be negative repercussions? What is the message this whole thing now is sending to those people? Is it okay to use the N-word on black people? Is it okay to use it on a child? What happened to the repercussions for hate speech? And I want you guys to let me know what you think. Did you hear about it? Please drop your comments in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Okay, so I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but I have been so bothered by this. When I say I have been disgusted by this, there was this white woman named Shiloh Hendricks who called a black baby the N-word, and then when she was exposed, she went on to raise, I think it's at $1 million now. She has raised $1 million on this crowdfunding page for calling a black kid the N-word, right? I was so bothered by that, and everybody's like, what can we do? What can we do? Y'all know me for cyberbullying people, but that was not going to be enough. So I'm going to tell y'all what I did, okay? I've been thinking, I've been strategizing, I've been doing a little sleuthing, right? So what I thought about as a business owner, what do I want to hit? Do I want to hit her or do I want to hit the money? So I thought about that. So I started searching and trying to figure out, how can I find this funding source? I'm a business owner, I own a retail store, so I know there is a funding source. There's a pipeline somewhere, right? Give, Send, Go is the platform she uses, but they are not the bank. So I thought, like, we got to find a bank. And most banks are not going to want to be attached to something like that, right? Like most banks, especially payment processors, they will cut that shit off with any type of doubt or controversy. They'll usually just cut it off, right? So what I did, I used to be a web developer, so I know how to code and I know how to read code. So I went and I broke down the code on Give, Send, Go's checkout page line for line, and there were keywords I wanted to look for, right? So I looked for the keywords and I started looking through the keywords and I found the keyword Block Inc., right? That's familiar, right? Block Inc. is the parent company of Square. So I went and I did my researching, and it turns out, yeah, that's their payment processor. So I'm going to attach and I'm going to share ways we can contact both Block Inc. and Square. So we want to hit both of them so they can't ignore us, right? But there is a process to report stuff like that. And I don't know if they just didn't think we'd find it out. But yeah, bitch, we found it out. So I'm going to share how y'all can report. Stop reporting to Give, Send, Go. They don't give a fuck. They supported Kyle Rittenhouse, the January 6th rioters. That is literally what they do. That platform thrives off hate. So we don't want to hit them. We want to hit the money. And see, Give, Send, Go is a for-profit company, and they pretty much can do what they want to do. But when it comes to banking and payment processing in this country, we do actually have laws and regulations surrounding that. So any type of bank or payment processor has to have a clear-cut policy that prevents them from funding hateful things like that. So yes, Block and Square both have policies that prohibit the use of their platform for glorifying or amplifying or profiting off of harassment, illegal activities, racism, and yes, hate speech. So she has violated their policy by even having that campaign. I'm telling y'all, stop playing with black women in business and stop playing with black women in tech, because I know good and fucking well y'all didn't think we were going to look into that.